I recently went on a trip with some of my childhood best friends to Big Sur, and I painted a bunch of plein air sketches while I was out there. So come hang with me while I show you all 3 of the paintings I did and the sketches I did back home afterwards, and how all of those made their way into my ceramic practice. The first one I did that you're seeing here was the first morning we were there before we took a drive down Highway 1 together. This was like a little opening of trees right before you walk down to the beach, but I felt like this little landscape was a bit more interesting than just painting the sand and the water. I loved the way the roots were exposed and the way the trees framed the view of the water. Anyway, this one probably took me about 45 minutes, and I did it in my Moleskine watercolor album with my gouache palette that I made. That's a mix of M-Gram, Winsor Newton, and Holbein gouache. Alright, the second one I did was overlooking the bluffs at a little cafe off of our drive, and we were about halfway through the drive and the hikes for the day, and we needed a little break, so I figured this was a good opportunity to sketch another one real quick. It's kind of a bummer because it was pretty overcast the whole time we were there, but at least it wasn't raining. After this, I ducked into some of the galleries in town, which was amazing because they were full of incredible plein air oil paintings, and I had no idea that the town we were staying in had such an intense plein air art presence. I didn't even pick the town we were going to, my friend did, so it was a really lovely surprise. This last plein air sketch of the trip I think was my favorite scene I painted, but unfortunately I didn't have time to finish it on site, which I typically never let myself do, but sometimes you gotta be flexible when you're traveling with other people. When I do solo trips, I get to take all the time I want and paint all day long, but we had a breakfast place we really wanted to try, and so we had to get a move on. So I just got down the basic shapes and values, and then we hit the road. We grabbed breakfast, I saw some more galleries, and then we went to a flower farm, and I was obsessed with all the rows and rows and rows of flowers. And those come up later in my other paintings. Right. I am home from California. Home meaning New York, which I don't actually live in New York. I am here in New York for 2 months because my girlfriend is about to open a show on Broadway. Anyway, you'll see more about that in the next video. But I am back and I want to show you all of the sketches that I've done and how that's made its way onto pottery already. So let's go. The first one you saw in this video was that sketch of the beach. I really like this one. I had to do it pretty quick because all of these were really, really quick sketches, like 45 minutes tops, because I was with friends, so I didn't want to make them wait around a bunch. And then the second one I also did that day, and it's fine. It was like a super cloudy and overcast weekend. So I'm kind of bummed that I didn't get to see it in all its glory. But I will be back in July for Rebecca's sister's wedding, so I'll get to do a little bit more painting then. But I captured what it looked like. It was cloudy. And then this one I did the next day. It was gorgeous. I had to paint it. We were in a bit of a rush. So I just did a sketch on site, just laying down the colors and stuff. And then I came home and you saw me finish it at home. So this one I was able to spend a little bit more time on, but I also didn't have the benefit of looking directly at the subject, which I think gives better life to painting. So those were the 3 plein air sketches that I did. Then I did this sketchbook spread, which you also saw me do a couple of paintings on. These are all paintings from photos that I took on the trip. Got pretty much all of these are off of Highway 1. We've got redwoods. We've got just a close-up of the water. Look out the window on the drive to the airport. This one on that side was quite literally the most beautiful lookout I've ever seen. I put a pin on my map of where it was, and I'm hoping I can go back and do a plein air sketch there. And then the flowers, the daffodil and the tulip were painted from photos that I took while we were at the flower farm. And then the iris was a wild iris that I saw on the hike. Speaking of which, I have been obsessed with painting irises recently. Oh, I did. Crazy iris page. I've started incorporating all of this inspo and paintings onto my ceramic work too. So I did a vase and some mugs with all of the flowers that I saw naturally growing in Northern California. So we've got the orange poppies, calla lilies, irises, and I think goldenrod, I think it was. So yeah, I don't have them finished yet. I just finished painting them and they're in the bisque kiln right now. We've got those. You can see them in process and I'm super stoked. I think I might release some stickers of irises just because I'm obsessed. Anyway, that's it. Things are coming along. I think plein air painting is so magical, and maybe the only thing more magical than plein air painting is getting to spend time with friends that you've known. I mean, I've known the people that I went on the trip with. I've been like best friends with since I was like 6, which is always just really healing and feels really good. Anyway, next week, the video is going to be more ceramic focused and it will be about me working out of New York. Ooh! And there's been some bumps along the road. Subscribe if you want to see some of that and more plein air painting. And yeah, let me know if you've ever plein air painted, if you've ever wanted to give it a go. And if you have any questions about it. I think it's maybe my favorite thing that I do and I love it so much. Okay, have a good one. Bye.